Thank you, Hanji, and the Millbrook Singers for sharing your original composition. Thank you, Mr. Coughlin and Doug Groove for playing our school hymn for the beauty of the earth so beautifully. In a typical year, we would have sung it many times by now. And thank you, Chaplain Hardy, for inviting me to give the final chapel talk of this most unusual year. Having worked together to develop the Chapel Talk program, which began in the fall of 1994, Chaplain Hardy are proud that it is now one of the traditions that makes Millbrook Millbrook. I'm equally happy to be in this beautiful space with my last class, the great class of 2021. As a class, you've been determined, resilient, optimistic, and trusting. Rather than let COVID completely define you and shape your sixth form year, you fought back to define and shape the extraordinary success of this year. Individually, you'll be smarter and stronger because of your efforts and your investment. Collectively, you'll remember the challenges, the anxieties, and the doubts, and you'll find a shared sense of pride and an accomplishment in what you have achieved with your teachers as leaders of this community. Still, it's hard to believe that we're here in this chapel together in our 27th week of school together, with your commencement, Millbrook's 90th, just 4 days away. This month we've enjoyed tastes of what makes Millbrook Millbrook and the fruits of exceptional effort and creativity. The CES Festival, Chapel Talks Informal Dinner, assembly with the entire school present, athletic contests, Greece, the prom, and much more. What a change from where we were in September. I'll tell you, as we welcomed the student body back to campus then, I was a wreck. More anxious than I've been in any of my 30 Septembers as headmaster. As I told the faculty recently, I hate roller coasters. And I knew that this year was going to be a doozy of a ride. It took all the strength and discipline I could muster to get on. As profoundly uncomfortable as I was at times, I'm so glad I sat in the seat, strapped myself in, and held on for dear life. I'm proud of you, of the rest of the student body, of the faculty and staff, and of all that we've accomplished together. You know, I was tempted, really tempted, to make this a 3-sentence chapel talk. I came to work, I did my job, I left. However, I knew that Chaplain Hardy would be upset about that, and one of my cardinal rules is not to make Chaplain Hardy upset. But you know, that's how I began at Millbrook in July 1990. I came to work and began my job. For my first 6 weeks, I lived in the apartment in Pulling House where Ms. Facey lives now because the main house was being renovated. In mid-August, Mrs. Casertano arrived with our 2 older sons who were then 7 and 4. She was 8 months pregnant with our 3rd son. Stupidly, I hadn't stocked the kitchen with food for breakfast for their first morning on campus. no milk, orange juice, and eggs in the fridge, no cereal, bread, or pancake mix in the cupboard. Dumb. Really dumb. Mrs. Casertano still hasn't forgiven me. So instead of 3 sentences, let me tell you a bit about why we've stayed after that truly inauspicious beginning for 31 years. You know, the funny thing is that few people, if any, thought that we would stay more than 5 or 6 years. I've been told that most members of the search committee thought that I would use Millbrook as a stepping stone for a bigger, more prestigious school. Others didn't see that I was a good fit at all for Millbrook of 1990. In my second month as headmaster, I gave a campus tour to the head of St. David's, a kindergarten through 8 boys' school in New York City, whose graduates we hope to attract. At the end of the tour, he observed bluntly that Millbrook and I didn't seem like a match in any way. He literally looked me up and down and then looked around the campus as he said it. Ouch. The truth is, I didn't have a timetable or a plan, and I certainly wasn't thinking of how I might use Millbrook to launch my career onto bigger and better things. I did have a vision for the school, but without a timetable, as I had a sense that creating lasting change would take time. So, why did we stay? Well, we stayed because Mrs. Casertano and I agreed that this would be our life. Initially, she had her doubts about Millbrook, and who could blame her? The school was in really tough shape. Still, she stood by me every step of the way, and then stood with me through her work in admissions and as director of financial aid and an advisor. We stayed because of my belief in the rightness of Millbrook's purpose and to be part of a place that matters, to play a meaningful role in a school that's teaching essential lessons for life. That's been a constant inspiration, especially when dealing with the inevitable challenges of initiating progress and creating change. The opportunity has done as much to shape me as I played a role in shaping Millbrook. For example, I've had the privilege of writing Millbrook's mission. Actually, I've written several versions over 30 years. Each time I sought input from many and drew fully from Mr. Pulling's vision and Millbrook's history. Each time, the mission required approval from the Board of Trustees. Today's one-sentence statement reads, as so many of you know, in a community where every student is known and needed, Millbrook prepares its students for college and lives of meaning and consequence by instilling the values of respect, integrity, stewardship, service, and curiosity. That expresses exactly what I think a school should do and what I believe in as an educator and as a person. We stayed because of the people, beginning with you, the students. I love working with teenagers and the opportunity to help you move farther along the path to your potential than you think you can. To be part of your developing your best selves in ways that serve the common good. While faced with the administrative and strategic tasks of being a headmaster, I wanted to be in a place where I was involved with students. Simply, that I would know you and you would know me. We stayed because of the countless ways we've been supported by Millbrook trustees and the faculty and staff and their trust and confidence in me, even when unwarranted. Remember, I was 34 when I became headmaster and had, oh boy, so much to learn. We stayed because of the variety of my work. No 2 days are the same, and there are unpredictable twists and turns in each. A single day could involve helping an advisee, talking with a teacher about graduate school, writing an article for a school publication, working with students and faculty on a new program or event, working with trustees and the administrative team on a strategic plan and a campus master plan, working with our architect, students, faculty, and trustees to design a building, coaching lacrosse, attending an admissions reception, and traveling to talk to a donor. All of that really kept me on my toes and demanded that I stretch and grow. I had to develop new skills and habits, different ways of solving problems, and of approaching obstacles as opportunities. Each time the school reached a new plateau, from a place with a declining enrollment and deteriorating campus, to an emerging institution, to a stable school, to one that is powerful, ambitious, and confident today about who it is and where it's going. Among the many gifts I've received as Millbrook's 6 headmaster is having to make decisions, many that weigh the needs of the community against the needs of the individual, some that have a profound effect on people's lives, and all that needed to be grounded in our mission and values. I quickly learned that I had to make them on my own belief in what is right and wrong, of what is acceptable and unacceptable in our community. I'm not sure this is the case in other jobs, and it's been a true privilege of my work as it's helped me to grow up and to be clear about my own beliefs and values. I'll add that I was determined not to fail and motivated by the opportunity to do something that most people questioned, to build on the best of Millbrook, with the best of Millbrook, to evolve from that school of 170 students with limited ambition to the school so many of us love and are proud of today. That's been an extraordinary opportunity, and so many students, faculty, staff, parents, alumni, and trustees have been partners in that progress. The result is that I've been eager to go to work each day. Now, that's not to suggest that each day was easy, and I'm not at all a fan of the saying, find a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I love being Millbrook's headmaster, and some days definitely felt like work. Some of those decisions I mentioned earlier were hard and really uncomfortable. But each day the work was worth doing, even in the most challenging moments. The opportunities were stimulating and engaging, and the people made the challenges manageable and the progress achievable. It's been a wonderful life. So like the class of 2021, our Millbrook years are coming to a close. When Mrs. Casertano and I drive out School Road in late June, our hearts will be filled with love for this place. Time for a drink. With pride in what we've accomplished, this may take a while. As a community in this COVID-filled year, with a sense that we've left it thank you for that. Better than we found it. And with confidence in Millbrook's future, laugh again, with Mr. and Mrs. Downs at the helm. Thank you.
As they say.
They don't know they're supposed to leave.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
So if there's anyone who can make me not cry, it's Mr. Downs.
I've asked Mr. Casertano as the next head of school if I may ask a few questions of him after this talk. So I hope you'll bear with us here for maybe another 5 minutes or so and hear what he's got to say. So you said that you stayed for the mission and the purpose, a life and a place that matters.
Yep.
To teach essential lessons of life. Are there lessons that you think we should never forget?
Well, that you get more by giving and engaging fully in something, and that when you give, you shouldn't expect anything in return. That, in a way, that's the message of the 31 years. No one thought we would stay around, and I didn't expect today. I just kept doing it. So that's that.
So I've witnessed you teach lessons to your sons, Alex, Tyler, and Will. Which one's your favorite?
Of course, I have no favorites. How can a parent have a favorite? You're the middle of 5 children. You know that. You just are dying to be your mother's favorite.
It's clear in my family. So you were 30...
I just stop for a minute. I am truly proud that 2 of the 3 have decided, after never saying they would work in a school, to work in schools and have really meaningful lives. So that's good.
Thinking about their age, you were 34 when you became head of Millbrook School. What would Drew Casertano today say to the 34-year-old Drew Casertano?
Wait. Grow up a little more. What I really would say is my advice to my 34-year-old self was to go a little faster with change. That a lot had to change in the early days. I had to change the board of trustees, then the faculty had to change. And it took a year too long. We needed to change the student culture faster, and I waited a little too long for that as I was trying to do other things. So move a little faster. I should have moved a little faster in the early years.
Today is May 26, 2021. What is Drew Casertano doing on May 26, 2022, or maybe 2025?
Well, a year from now, I hope to have a different relationship with time, so that my life isn't quite as busy and scheduled. I hope to travel with Mrs. Casertano. We're moving to our home in Rhode Island. And I hope to see more of my grandchildren. Our 4th grandchild is on the way in August, and so I hope to do some things we have been harder to do in this 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week life. And make no mistakes, I'm not complaining. I haven't missed a thing. There's nothing that I feel like I was deprived of or we couldn't do when we were here, but now we can do some different things.
As you know, Oscar Wilde is my favorite author.
Yes.
And in The Importance of Being Earnest, Oscar Wilde says, in matters of grave importance, style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Is that true?
Are you suggesting anything? Maybe I don't think there, and this campus is a great example of the fact that substance and style can be brought together. I don't know about sincerity, but actually one of the my goals for Millbrook over the years was to bring together substance and style, to be a community of deep substance and meaning, and to look good doing it. And I don't think that there's any reason that the two can't be together. Our buildings are gorgeous. We take great care of our campus. Our rituals and our traditions are meaningful. They've all been cast to the wind this year as we've had to reinvent each and every one of them, but still, we've done that with substance and style. So I think they can go hand in hand. I don't know about Mr. Wild's thoughts on sincerity. Mr. Down knows that one of my mentors and great inspirations is a man who became head of town school in New York City at age 30, and then Germantown Friends in Philadelphia at age 40. And he used to say to me repeatedly, resist earnestness. So I think, that's been one of the things I've hung on to.
Will you do a rapid fire round with me? No qualifiers?
Oh, you're giving me a lot of choices here.
Okay, great. Most memorable athletic contest.
Anyone you played in? Sorry. Triple overtime win over Lawrenceville, and your friend and mine in hockey, and your friend and mine, Twinkie, scored the goal to win the Empire Cup. And any time we beat Salisbury or Berkshire.
Most memorable musical.
Grease.
Most memorable graduation moment.
Class of '06, and obviously this one hasn't happened yet, and that was because that was the first time Mrs. Morrison and I took a group of students to Guatemala City to work with the poorest children there, and the speaker was Hanley Denning, the founder of Safe Passage in Guatemala City, who was then killed 6 months later in an automobile accident. So Hanley's coming up here was remarkable, but there have been many. Mark Smith's graduation talk, I can remember 2 of the 3 things he said. That was a long time ago. Go to Rio and learn to play the guitar. I forget what the other one was.
All right, last.
Well, I'll go back, actually. The most memorable was my first, and Chaplain Hardy's walking out. There's Mr. Hardy, which was awful. It was so bad that we immediately redesigned every single word, inch, and part of commencement. I still bear the scars of that commencement.
That's a perfect segue. You talked about stages of our school, declining enrollment and deteriorating campus, to an emerging institution, to a stable institution, to a powerful and ambitious school, where we know where we're going, where we know who we are. Is there another level?
Yes, being inevitable. Having the resources and the strength that the school's future is never in question. And we're getting there. And you're going to take us there.